This is episode 43 and a half of Stay on Topic. You remember, we do the podcast once every 3 months.
Vaguely. I'm not sure anyone else remembers.
It's a thing we do. Fresh from his trip to the Orchids of Asia Day Spa, James Post.
Have never been, which, is a little unfortunate.
That's not what the videotape shows. And James, you can be reached on Twitter
At PostJM9.
And I am Chris Gill. Didn't forget the intro. It's been a while, but not that much as rust has built. And I can be reached at Giltastrophe. And we're both on Facebook. Our names are easy to spell. You get the idea. So since we last convened for one of these discussions, Michael Cohen testified in front of Congress.
Yes, he did. And it was an epic and I think in a lot of ways disappointing testimony to people who wanted to hear new damning information about President Trump, because there really wasn't any.
Now, he confirmed what a lot of us had suspected, which is he's kind of a scumbag.
Yeah. And it's, if anything, that was perhaps the strongest part of his testimony.
Yeah.
Was his own confirmation of what a scumbag he is, the terrible things he's done, to which, Republican members of the committee said, why should we listen to you if you're such a terrible person? And my thought is, why did the president keep hiring terrible people if not to do terrible things?
Right. Yeah. And any real damning evidence, I'm pretty sure he's not going to tell the Congress. I'm pretty sure if there's any really damning evidence, it's in Robert Mueller's team's hands.
Yeah.
So it really was a big dog and pony show.
Yes. I'm not sure this testimony was intended to elicit new information so much as to present that show to the public.
Well, the other nifty thing that broke here the last couple of days, and why I mentioned the Orchids of Asia Day Spa in Jupiter, Florida, it is run by one Lee Yang. She goes by Cindy. And that is where New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft was arrested for soliciting prostitution.
It's not where he was arrested, but that is where
that's
he allegedly solicited prostitutes.
Yes. 77, man, I hope I have that kind of gumption. It's got to be pills or something. But Ms. Yang snapped a selfie with Donald Trump at Donald Trump's Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
Just further making the ick worse.
Yeah, and that's,
just, again,
it starts to get to the point, it's the same thing as with Michael Cohen is, even if you believe that Donald Trump has done absolutely nothing wrong, either as president or before that, why has he associated with people who have done so many things wrong? Why have there been 39 indictments related just to, specific, not even...
That's just to his campaign.
Yeah.
That's not even all the shit that may or may not have gone on.
Yeah, that's not the stuff
president.
That's in the Southern District. That's
well, just let's go further into the ick. Miss Yang was also implicated in a human trafficking ring.
Yeah, and that's the really rough part is you can have your own opinion about prostitution and how morally wrong it might be. Obviously it's quite illegal in the United States. But when you get into people who are involved in prostitution who don't want to be there, there's no longer any moral gray area.
Right.
We're now taking advantage of people who are basically in slavery, in sexual slavery.
Yeah. Arguably the worst kind.
Yeah.
I don't want to put degrees of good or bad on slavery.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't have gone there.
Also, news of particular interest to us here in the southern tier of New York State. is the Woodstock50.
Yeah.
It's going to be held at Watkins Glen International mid-August. Typically a pretty good time for weather. Like, it's going to be hotter than blazes, but typically you get good weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is our home racetrack. We're 20 minutes south of the racetrack. It's hosted 2 fish festivals. Should have been 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, this ever since news broke it was being held there was a lot of head scratching. You know, why not have it at Bethel?
Well, Bethel had its own plans, and it sounds like Michael Lang, who is one of the original Woodstock organizers and who is organizing this along with a team of others, didn't want any part of that. You know, the Bethel Woods had sort of formed its own organization leading up to this anniversary, and it sounds like they had their own plans, which seem to have sort of fallen apart for that time period. So, you know, Mike Lang went to look somewhere else, and I think Watkins Glen International has done a really good job of promoting itself as a venue.
Well, and it's built up the infrastructure to host that many people.
Yeah.
That's the biggie. The surrounding area, you could argue, is a little weak, but it's a lot better than Bethel Woods.
Yes.
So
there is some civilization nearby, although it's mostly accessible by 2-lane road.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. So yeah, what was it, about a week ago? A lineup, or the first wave of a lineup, was leaked or rumored.
Yeah,
it's real murky.
It's being reported as a leak, but
okay,
you know, it's never really a leak until it's confirmed, is it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, some names are out there now. Which, you know, it's now mid-March. The Woodstock50 organization had claimed that that lineup and ticket prices were going to be announced sometime in February, and that has long passed. So,
well, there was also some teeth gnashing over whether or not the acts were even getting paid in full or not.
Yeah.
And so Michael Lang had to go to his financial backers, Dentsu Inc. from Tokyo. It's the 5th largest PR/advertising firm in the world. Mm-hmm. That's who's really backing this thing.
Yeah.
To pony up the cash to get these acts up here.
Yeah.
And the apprehension was, this isn't Bonnaroo. It's not Coachella.
Yeah, because it's not an annual recurring event. The groups, or, you know, more likely their management, are seeing this as sort of a higher risk.
Oh yeah,
booking.
Right. And, you know, I don't know of Michael Lang's professional history between Woodstock 1 and now, but I think some of his promoting skills were called into question.
Well, you know, there was Woodstock 94 for the 25th anniversary, which, you know, apparently, you know, if you know, being accused of being somewhat commercial, was at least seemed to be a competently managed event.
Except for the riots.
Well, that was Woodstock 99.
Oh, okay.
Woodstock 99 was a shit show.
Yeah.
So, you know, take your pick which of those you want to take your impression of the organization from.
So some of the names that have been thrown around, and these are not confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, include Chance the Rapper, Imagine Dragons, Santana, Dead and Company, and we heard Jay-Z.
Yes. And that would be a big booking.
That massive.
You know, if you're not familiar with hip hop, which I suppose maybe some of our listeners aren't, big name rappers don't tour. No, they just don't.
No,
they don't need to.
It's not a thing anymore. They did back in the day.
Yeah.
But now they don't need it.
So, you know, the opportunity for a lot of people to come out and see Jay-Z at a live event, at a concert, could be their only chance.
And
outside of, New York, LA.
the ticket prices would reflect that.
I would imagine.
They start at $703 and they go up to as much as $2,013.
Now, where's this coming from? Because those
This
numbers
is Ticketmaster
It's listed.
as of today.
Okay. I'm a little behind on that.
Hey, man, I'm happy to break the news for you.
All right.
Yeah, so that's that's a lot to ask of a modern day concert goer.
Yes. I mean, this is obviously it's gonna be a big show. Really big show.
Knew you were going there.
Yeah. But dozens of acts, 40 to 80, depending on which numbers you're looking at, multiple stages, 3-day festival, an experience that's beyond just the bands on the stage. You factor that in.
That's called the acid.
Yeah. But you're still looking at, that's a decent cruise, or, at the high end, a trip to Europe.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
I did Daytona 24-hour weekend for less.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and that's, 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So
you drove though. That doesn't even count.
I think next year we're taking the train and then flying back.
Yeah. Train wouldn't be a bad way to do it.
No, it's being bandied about, but I don't know that I could pay that much for that lineup so far.
Yeah,
and I don't know what you could put on that ticket,
and I don't see how you
to make me want to pay that much.
I don't see how you have ticket price numbers out there without a lineup. How do people make that decision?
I have no earthly.
Are they just counting on people make it because it's Woodstock?
Right. Yeah. That's they think that's going to drive the people, is just the experience or whatever.
That must be good. It's the Woodstock 50th anniversary.
But
They'll get good bands.
It does get us to thinking, for those prices, what would your fantasy Woodstock 50 lineup be? Your personal lineup that you would pay somewhere between $700 and $2,000 for 3 days.
Yeah. And I'm saying we can't say Jesus Christ.
I don't know if I'd pay that much.
It's, so you're saying we should ask our listeners.
We should totally ask our listeners.
To come up with some names. But we should probably set some circumscriptions on that list.
Let's go, what would you say? Somewhere between 5 and 10.
Okay.
You want to just call it 8 and assume that the other...
Well, we could call it 5, and the people who are going to list 10 to 25 are going to do it anyway.
This is true. Yeah. But I don't even know if 5 is enough to compel me to pay for.
Maybe we'll call it 10.
Okay.
This is not a fantasy list in the sense of living or dead.
It is right now.
This is people who are available right now who can stand up on a stage and play, or sit. I guess.
You get creative, what reunion would compel you to come out? What maybe supergroup would compel you to come out? Use your imagination with this. But seriously, what 10 acts would you want to see that you would pay somewhere between $700 and $2,000 for?
We're just going to go straight for the ultimate supergroup, the We Are the World chorus of everyone still living who played at Woodstock.
Some of whom I don't know that you'd want to hear sing any longer. So yeah, that's our challenge to the listeners.
And you'll hear our list after we hear yours.
Totally. You show us yours, we'll show us. Anyway.
We'll show each other? How does that work?
Yeah, that gets boring, man. I mean, it's every time. So we'll schedule a time to record episode 44 and a half. We'll get it up on the
I'm
socials.
thinking mid-May.
At this rate. December to March ain't that bad. We can edit that out. Yeah, so we'll get it on the socials, get your feedback, and we'll do an episode, build it around that.
Chris Gill should know one thing at this point, folks at home. Anything that he says to edit out must absolutely remain in the recording.
It always does. Although some of your outros, I've noticed, have gotten edited out before.
Yeah, that's true. But that's me. You want to leave the editing up to me, these things happen. Yeah. You want to do the editing yourself, you can do what you want.
I don't think you'd like the result. But the reason we did reconvene for Stay on Topic was the 21st movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain Marvel. The
MCU is finally old enough to drink.
Thank God. Legally. James and I saw the movie over the weekend. Different times. I saw it Friday night. He saw it Sunday night. Neither of us have said a word to each other about this. So this is all just kind of coming off the top of our heads.
So it's probably going to be a mess.
Oh, it's, yeah. So
there's no plan, no outline.
Nope. There will be editing, I'm sure. So, James, your initial impressions of the first, basically Marvel's Superman and first female-led movie. What was your impression of Captain Marvel?
Shortest impression I can provide before going deeper. And this isn't a spoiler unless you consider music a spoiler. When the film cut to credits at the end and Celebrity Skin began playing, I wanted to cheer.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. It's a little bit more positive than mine, and I thought I'd be the positive one on this. I really thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It wasn't Winter Soldier.
No.
But I liked it a lot more than Black Panther.
Yeah, and then, we're going to get into weird territory here because we're two white guys.
And spoilers.
Yeah, I don't see any way to discuss it without spoilers, although there's, I guess there's one key spoiler.
Well, there are a bunch, especially if you're into comic books.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with the comic book lore and all the stories that, spawn this movie. There are a bunch.
Yeah.
And that's partially why I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Probably more so than a general audience. So yeah, there are going to be spoilers. If you don't want it spoiled, go watch the movie, come back, listen to us. No one else does these kind of podcasts. So you have to come here.
Yeah.
For insight on this. But
we have a captive audience.
Absolutely. And a growing audience statistically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this movie worked for the comic nerd a whole lot more than the general audiences. I don't think general audiences got out of this movie what we got out of it.
No.
And a lot of it was, I don't want to call it stunt casting, but it was really smart casting.
In what way?
So you open the movie with Captain Marvel, or what was her name? Her Kree name?
Verse.
Fighting alongside Jude Law.
Yeah.
And you are led to believe that, oh, okay, I get it. In fact, that might be Marvel.
Yeah.
Then on the Skrull side, you cast Ben Mendelsohn, who always plays a slimy bad guy.
Yeah.
A real prick in every role he does. And he does it well. Better than a lot of modern day actors. You cast him in that role, and that's what you expect. You expect the Skrulls of the comic books, the kind of savage, knuckle-dragging, warriors.
And it's funny because, well, I'll let you continue, and then I'll get into my my reaction to this sort of twist.
Yeah, and the twist was they made the Skrulls sympathetic.
Yeah.
They were by no means heroes, but I guess our first hint would have been when Korath was on the, what they call the super group there? the Starfleet Command or something.
I don't, I honestly don't
Yes.
remember what they called this, the squad there.
Yeah. But you saw Karath on it and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, that was your first hint. You thought, okay, so there's going to be some moral ambiguity here in this storyline.
Yeah. And then they're coordinating their attack plans with Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah. But I love those twists.
Yeah.
And they did it just in casting.
And
Annette Bening. Brilliant fucking casting in the way they did that to make her Marvel.
Yeah.
Shit like that, we got a lot more out of than I think, my girlfriend got out of it. My girlfriend just thought, wow, it was a really cool movie. And my daughter got to see a woman not just, be strong, not 1 ounce of sex or sexism or, there was no love story, none of it. And I think, girlfriend said, she's like, that to me was better than Wonder Woman, who's in a skimpy outfit and had to have a man and all this shit.
But no, there's a lot there for me to react to. First off, I think the twist with making the Skrulls sort of the underdogs, the quote unquote good guys, basically they're on the losing side of the war. They're just trying to get away at this point. And in a way, it works better for me than the Skrulls of the comic books.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's never made sense to me. Disguise is not the evolutionary trait of conquerors.
No.
It's the evolutionary trait of things that are afraid of predators. So the idea that these people are being hunted down and so they disguise themselves sort of turns the infiltrator thing on its head in a way that, thematically fits with how big the twist is plot-wise.
Right.
At one level, I agree with you on, that all the little things that are thrown in there for the comics fans, and the things that are thrown in there for the Kevin Smith fans.
Yeah.
With the Stan Lee cameo, which I thought was great. Those things did work really well for me in a way that they didn't work. I actually saw it with my in-laws, and I don't think those things worked for them. But from my perspective, which is limited as that of a white man, I feel like this worked better as a girl power movie than Black Panther worked as a Black Power movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the use of music in this movie made me realize how much the sort of generic scoring of Black Panther, I think, was a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
I think some music drops in Black Panther could have helped a lot.
It would have been a tough fit just because of where Wakanda is in the world.
Yeah.
How Wakanda's structured. They're off by themselves doing their own thing. So it would have been really awkward to have too much contemporary music over that setting.
Yeah, but I think the setting was half the problem too. But I don't want to. I think if more of Black Panther had been set in South Central LA, I think it would have been a stronger movie too. But I don't think we need to spend 25 minutes relitigating Black Panther either. My point is, I think I almost felt Whedon-esque in a way.
It did. Yeah.
And at one point in particular, for the one, maybe two listeners who like the Marvel movies and listen to us and also watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Big crossover right there.
Yeah. There's a scene near the end of Captain Marvel where we see these flashbacks of all these times she's failed as a child, where she's fallen down, where she got hit by a pitch when playing baseball or softball.
Well, notice she fell down in that montage each time.
Yes.
She fell to the ground.
And then a little bit later, we get the follow-up, which is her getting up after all of those things. And there is a nearly identical scene in the finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where, and I will keep this as short as I possibly can, the finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer basically involves taking the powers that Buffy has and spreading them out amongst a whole bunch of other young women. And there's a montage where Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy is describing what's going to happen when they do this. And she says the phrase, can stand up, will stand up. And you get a montage of sports and other situations, young women who are standing up, there's specifically one that is somebody who is at a plate in softball, and has a big bruise on her face and is, getting back up to take a swing. Or a girl that's just been hit by her father and is getting back up and has a look on her face like she's not going to take it anymore. And it's almost impossible not to see, if you've seen both, not to see a connection.
You know where that connection comes from. It's like a Hindu proverb. Why do you fall down 7 times? So you can get up 8. And do you know how many cuts there were in the Captain Marvel montage?
Yeah.
7. That's where that's steeped. I mean,
the actual visual framing of those shots was very much the same.
Beautifully done.
It's hard. Well, and I'm saying it's hard to imagine that somebody shot that for Captain Marvel and did not see the nearly identical scene in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is only to say that I think it worked in both cases, not that I think it was ripped off. But no, it's, the just absolute curb stomp fight scene set to Just a Girl.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose, but it works because of the writing and the characters and the acting.
That was one of my few, I did have a few gripes with it. They didn't get very creative with their powers.
No.
The fight choreography was very quote unquote basic.
Yeah. And
that disappointed me a bit. I'm like, come on, after you just had this awesome battle with all these heroes against Thanos that was brilliantly executed. Take any action scene from like Winter Soldier. I mean, raise your game, or at least get to that level. Get creative with this stuff.
But at the same, I don't know. I don't remember Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel in the comic books being a Daredevil type fighter.
She's a brawler with cosmic powers. She is every bit a warrior as Wonder Woman, but she doesn't have to be as physical because she has the photon blast.
Well, exactly. And, it's going to be up to them how they decide to play out the character in the cinematic universe. But I don't think the, flipping roundhouse 360 jumping kick, whatever, is necessary.
You didn't have to do that. That's fine for Captain America. That's what he does.
Yeah.
If you just figured out that you have this unlimited photon power now after the inhibitor got ripped off her neck.
Yeah.
Be creative with that. And the filmmakers just weren't very creative with that. That was one of my, and I don't think that's a nitpick. Like the bar has been raised for action scenes in these movies now.
Yeah.
Same with the CG. The CG in places was a little, oh boy, not Black Panther bad, but it was a little dicey, especially when she went up into space to stop all the accusers from carpet bombing North America.
And that ending felt a little bit, not rote, but almost like a throwaway. Like, once we saw the level of her power, it was not like I was expecting a tough fight
Right.
against the ships. So it was almost cursory.
Well, I think it was necessary to demonstrate, particularly again to the general audiences who have never read a damn comic book in their life. They just know they like the Marvel movies. Hey, this is the level of strength and power we're talking about.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it was very necessary to show everyone, hey, when she shows up in Endgame, this is now the most powerful creature in the MCU. You have to have a scene like that. Could have been done better, but
yeah,
the action in this was pretty disappointing all the way around. And it's a shame because Brie Larson worked her ass off for the 2 big fight scenes that she did have. The one against Jude Law, the training sequence there. That was pretty good, pretty well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, the action scenes left a bit to be desired. But speaking of Brie Larson, great casting.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what to expect. I wasn't up or down on her because I just didn't know. And man, she nailed it. She nailed Carol Danvers.
Yeah. Well, and it transitions well into something else I wanted to talk about, which is that she had great chemistry with Sam Jackson.
Oh, huge.
Who, by the way, was not distracting.
No.
As de-aged Sam Jackson. It was not Grand Moff Tarkin.
Because it was mainly prosthetics and practical effects. Thank you, Marvel.
Exactly. No, I forgot about it after the first 2 minutes. Which is how it should work.
That is a super smart move.
And it's goofy Nick Fury is great Nick Fury.
It's fun Nick Fury. That was another one of my
Really?
Yeah,
Are you becoming the guy who can't have fun because it doesn't match?
Nick Fury shouldn't have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you're that guy.
He's the one guy in the MCU that can't be allowed to have fun. You know, maybe some good-natured jabs, but he had way too goddamn much fun, and it kind of like neutered his character a little bit. I suppose you can justify it by saying, well, he was younger, he hadn't seen all the shit yet.
Yeah.
But if you're a SHIELD agent, you've seen some shit just to be a SHIELD agent.
You know, he hadn't lost his eye yet.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. I thought that running gag was fucking hilarious.
Oh, the way they kept, he
kept having shit happen to his eye. Yep. And it's like, is this where he loses his eye? Nope.
That part was,
and everybody's always asking him, how's your eye? It's fine. Because that's how Samuel L. Jackson talks. It's fine.
That was a really good Samuel L. Jackson. Watch that gets edited out. But that Fury, man, they had great, when those two were on screen together, I bought it. I was all in on that. But, you know, as soon as he introduced Chewie or Goose, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That should have been like a quiet moment by himself to show how much he loves cats. Like he was.
You think maybe not
not
in front of her was the problem for you?
In front of, like, that should have been a turn away from camera.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
And there's Fury's soft side. That's Nick Fury's soft spot. Okay, cool. But to have it just displayed like that was a little much. Love seeing Coulson back.
Yeah.
I just love Clark Gregg.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Thematically, at times, it felt like they were trying to do too much. But
with what themes?
Mainly, they were trying to balance this never say die theme, which went throughout. The Kree-Skrull War and all the little underpinnings there. They pulled it off. But man, I was getting a little concerned about halfway through the movie. I'm like, after they reveal the big reveal from what's the lead Skrull's name?
Oh God,
Torak?
No,
something.
Tozar.
Ben Mendelsohn's Skrull. When they did that, Okay, okay. They had me a little worried for a while, and then once they revealed
Talos?
that Talos,
Talos?
yeah, Talos.
Yeah.
Oh, and they had a super scroll. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That was great. They had the second Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel or however you want to call it.
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau.
Which, you know, my wife who saw it with me was actually saying to me, you know, I can't wait until we get a chance to see, you know, that girl do something.
Yeah.
Because I like the casting with that child actor so much. And I was like, well, now that you mention that, they've named her as the other Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel character. And she will be an adult with the time passage, you know, when we get back to the current time period.
Yeah. So yeah, we had 3 Captain Marvels in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just super cool. Really great. They did so much right in this movie that I hate pointing out the things that didn't work for me or I didn't like. Because this is a really good movie. I don't know if it's a buy on Blu-ray movie, but I'd certainly watch it again.
Yeah. No, I feel like I came out of it more positive than you did. And again, I really think a lot of it is just, I feel like I bought the girl power theme more than you seem to.
Oh, I bought it.
I liked the use of music and how that reinforced it. Some of it again was on the nose. But Celebrity Skin wasn't on the nose.
No.
It was just a great hit to start the credits with.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when I saw it, my throat still hurt from singing it in Rock Band the night before, not realizing that it was going to be in this movie.
Oh, how these things just interweave. Yeah, I think the problem going forward now is how to throw a challenge Captain Marvel's way in the MCU.
Well, I mean, we're set up for that.
Well, and immediately.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you do Captain Marvel the way they've done Captain Marvel in this movie, you are left with sort of the Superman problem.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I'm not sure how they're going to handle it. I mean, they have set up the idea that she's not going to be on Earth all the time.
Yeah, which is kind of great. I love that idea.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and it's, you know, but power levels have always been, you know, a fungible commodity in the MCU. You know, if MCU Captain Marvel fought MCU Thor, who wins?
Right now, Thor.
Which Thor? Thor from Infinity War or Thor from, you know,
post Ragnarok Thor?
Yeah.
You know, before when he just had Mjolnir and really didn't use the power to his full capabilities, Captain Marvel could probably take him. But
so you think Thor is still the strongest of the MCU
currently,
heroes?
yeah. I mean, he is a god,
but we haven't really seen him do anything of the scale that we saw.
Did you watch the end of Infinity or the last sequence of Infinity War?
I did. That was a battlefield on Earth, not 3 alien attack ships in space.
Okay.
The point I'm trying to make is not.
We have 2 Superman powered
Yeah.
characters in the MCU.
Yes.
Maybe one of them buys it at the end of Infinity War or Endgame.
We don't have long to wait.
No.
That, you know, it took me by surprise when I saw that trailer.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming, but I'd forgotten it was April.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking May or June because in my head, that's when blockbusters come out, but not anymore.
No, it's just as Jaws kind of set the standard for summer blockbusters. I think the MCU has totally undone it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when you put these movies out, people are going to go.
Yeah.
In 3 days, Captain Marvel cleared $153 million domestically. and 440 million worldwide. Opening weekend for a non-Avengers movie, that's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the worldwide they've made their money back, and then probably still paying for marketing.
Yeah.
But the domestic, I mean, you almost made half that movie back domestically in one weekend.
Yeah.
You can release these things any time of the year, and they're going to make money.
So here's another question, because I'm curious. What trailers did you see with this movie?
Yeah, I thought our local I saw it at the Regal,
Mhm.
and oh yeah, a bunch of Disney. No Endgame, nothing, not even a little tease for episode 9, which surprised me.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for. All you had to do was play the music and throw episode 9 up there, and people would have been just jazzed about that. Because that's coming in December.
Yeah. So, I saw it at our very local Main Street independent cinema here in Corning. And I got 2 trailers. I got Endgame and I got Dark Phoenix.
Wow. Yeah. No Dark Phoenix at Regal.
And that's an interesting pairing.
It is. I think you're reading too much into it, but
I'm not reading anything into it except that, wow, they still made Dark Phoenix.
Oh, that's the first time you saw the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay. But you knew they were making it.
Yeah, but it was, I'd forgotten about it because the Fox X-Men universe seems so irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
So the fact that movie is still coming out, just, even though I knew it, seeing it on a big screen was like, wow, that movie is still coming out. And I don't see that I don't see that they're going to, from that trailer, there's no evidence they're going to do any better than they did in Last Stand.
It'll be better than The Last Stand.
You think?
Because come on, man, that's like one of the all-time.
At what point did the people making this production find out that this was all going to shit?
As soon as Bryan Singer basically nudged the Reeves guy out of the X-Men franchise, because Reeves came back with First Class.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was just a solid rebirth of the X-Men franchise. And he wrote the script for Days of Futures Past. Bryan Singer saw the script for Days of Futures Past, was like, oh no, I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
And basically nudged him out. I want to see Reeves finish off what he started with First Class. And now we'll never get that chance.
But no, I'm just feeling like I don't know how much anybody's heart was going to be in this movie.
No.
I'll probably end up, I doubt I'll see it in the theater. I'll probably end up watching it at some point, and I won't be shocked if it's worse than Last Stand.
No, it will be better than Last Stand.
Okay.
That's one of the top 5 worst CBMs of this era.
Okay, that's a highly constricted ranking there, but
no, because I consider this era to start with Blade.
Okay.
So basically,
it's there with Spawn.
Yeah, it's down there, man.
Okay.
It's pretty god awful.
I can imagine a movie worse than that.
You can imagine seeing one, or one that exists that's worse than Last Stand.
I can imagine. I don't find it hard to imagine
that somebody could come along and make a worse movie
that's worse than that.
Okay.
And I think taking it more seriously, in a way that really none of the original 3 X-Men, I mean, that they were serious movies, but they weren't Nolan serious. They weren't Batman v Superman serious. I think going that far with Dark Phoenix is how you get a movie that's worse than Last Stand.
Yeah, I've never.
It's supposed to be batshit stupid.
Probably Logan and First Class are the only 2 X movies that are worth rewatching. I just none of the other ones do it for me.
And I still have nostalgia for the original X-Men movie, which I know isn't as good as the second one even, but at the time when I saw it, the idea that it existed was just blew my younger mind.
No, I didn't care for it.
I have nostalgia for it
start.
in the same way that I have nostalgia for Tim Burton's Batman, even though I know it's not a good Batman movie in any way.
And speaking of nostalgia, this Captain Marvel is a movie that was sold to the public on nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that really helped at the box office.
Which is funny because, and again, I'm bringing in the impressions of my wife because, you know, she comes to it from a very different place than me. She came out of the movie really enjoying it, but saying she expected a movie that took place on 90s Earth, and she didn't think enough of it did for her taste, or as much as she had been led to believe from the trailers.
See, and I thought the opposite. I thought they were using the nostalgia simply as a marketing tool to get people into the theaters, and that once you were in the theater and watched the movie, there wasn't enough 90s. But I was like, no, they really did the 90s thing. Like, they didn't use it as a character in the movie.
No.
As a lot of these type of endeavors would. Like, Stranger Things actually uses the 80s as a character in that series. They didn't use it as a character, which I was fine. I'm not a nostalgic type. I just don't get it. It's like, why would I want to look back at old decrepit shit? Like, give me new and better.
Yeah.
So, but I thought they followed through on that promise.
It's not that I feel it's a promise broken. I'm just bringing in, you know, someone else's impression of it. I didn't, to be honest, I hadn't seen, you know, I'd seen one trailer.
There were two. So,
well, and I know, but, so I didn't come into this, and I hadn't really followed production. I hadn't been reading about it. I came in with very few expectations. So in a way, my wife, who's seen, I think, almost all of the MCU movies, but isn't, you know, involved in that kind of thing the way we are. She came into it with more expectations than I had, just from having seen more advertising than I did.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought I was surprised that there was as much 90s stuff as there was.
And I think it worked well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's funny that the 90s is sort of the 80s now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Considering that I was, you know, an adult in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I was legally old enough to drink throughout the 90s, so I don't look at it with I don't look back to the past with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
I just don't. Because everything now is so much fucking better. Our ability to communicate is better. Our video games are better. Television's better. Movies are better.
Government.
So much better. In Europe.
No.
But
you should turn on the BBC once in a while.
I watch Sky News because it streams free on YouTube.
Yeah.
The other thing that just a couple little more points.
The brown shirts are taking over there too. That's what I'm saying.
God. The Supreme Intelligence did not think they'd go there.
Yeah.
I really thought that's a part of like the Kree lore. And this not being a James Gunn joint, if it was James Gunn doing this all day long, not only would the Supreme Intelligence be in this movie, but it would be a green blob with tentacles in a tank.
Yeah.
I really liked how they kind of modernized that whole notion. That was really cool.
But no, and again, we're kind of rehashing here, but I loved the way they twisted things around in this from the way it is in the comics.
Totally.
Because I've always found the Kree so incredibly hateable, even when I'm supposed to like them. And again, it never made that much sense to me that the Skrull would be such obvious villains. So turning it the way they did was just like everything clicked into place like that. No, this is the way they should have written it in the first place.
I hope this isn't the end of the Kree-Skrull War.
I don't know. There's only so much oxygen in a movie series.
When they get to the 30th MCU movie, they're gonna need something.
Yeah.
By then they'll have exhausted X-Men versus Avengers and everything else. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to need something. Show me more Kree-Skrull War.
Secret Wars.
Yeah, boy, I don't know if general audiences would. Of course, I said that when we walked out of the Avengers in 2012. It's like, holy shit, they're going for Thanos?
Yeah.
There's no way this works. It's like,
yeah,
they're getting too cosmic already. Holy shit. Yeah, so I also made that bold claim that
yeah, so
actually did after.
Is it that much of a stretch to have a series where Galactus is just a dude?
Yeah. A giant guy with reindeer antlers eating planets.
Well, I'm talking specifically in Secret War, where he's just like, you know.
We're back to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Secret Wars, not the other one. The Skrull invasion.
Yeah.
I forget the name of that one. But they've kind of, boy, I don't know if they could do that. Secret Invasion? I don't know that they can do that storyline convincingly now.
Not the way they framed things. That would be, I mean, I'm not sure what the point of doing that story would be if they would have to change it enough to make it fit this framing.
I don't think it works now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame. That'd be neat. Because they're going to need ideas.
Yeah.
After Endgame, I don't know where the hell this all goes. No idea. I mean, we've...
well, once they buy out DC, the amalgam cinematic universe is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's a thing that could happen, and easily. So your hopes or expectations for
Marvel Zombies versus the Black Lantern Corps.
God damn it. Your expectations for this character moving forward with the MCU.
No idea.
Okay, maybe hopes.
Hopes is that she is used sparingly.
Gotcha.
And that it's not. They needed to bring her in at some point.
Yeah, they're past due. If you ask me.
Not for story reasons, as well as sort of political reasons.
How they didn't do it in phase 2 is beyond me.
Yeah. But she can't be a Deus Ex Machina whenever they've written themselves into a corner.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
I would like to see her lead the next iteration of the Avengers.
Yeah, but who do you add to that team that isn't redundant?
There are other heroes that shoot lasers out of their hands.
That can fly and create massive force fields, and it's.
But we don't know who's going to bite it.
Yeah.
In Endgame. I want to see her become the leader of the Avengers.
And
if it was somebody less charming than Brie Larson, maybe not. But she was so goddamn good in that role.
Yeah.
Like, give me more of that.
Well, and probably wrapping it up here, but the mid-credit scene that ties directly into Endgame.
That's a clip ripped straight from Endgame.
Yeah. Are we just going to say that she's been traveling at relativistic speeds and that's why she hasn't aged 25 years?
I was wondering the same thing.
It's easy enough. I mean, you bring in light speed, there you go.
Exactly.
So here's my question for you. Do you think the fact that her powers come from the Tesseract, what is that, the Space Stone?
Yes.
Do you think that's going to have any significance with the Thanos storyline and the Infinity Gauntlet?
I think McFeely and Marcus are smart enough to do that. I just don't know how. I mean, those two are they have been wizards with this material. And I'm always excited to see what they do next with it. It's also the Russo brothers' last go.
Yeah.
So will Marcus and McFeely stick around?
Who knows? I mean, I feel like I know there's a schedule that exists, but I feel like in reality, there is a huge reset button that's going to be pressed the minute that Endgame ends.
Yeah.
That I don't think anybody, outside of that inner circle with Kevin Feige knows what's coming next.
No, and I have to imagine it has something to do with absorbing the Fox properties.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the logical thing.
Yeah, and that's, and again, there are titles and release dates out there, but I feel like a lot of that's going to get scrambled.
Oh, yeah. And rewritten and shelved and pushed back, just like the first 3 phases of the MCU as we know it now. I mean, the Ant-Man movie being the most, notorious example of what happens when you can't get your shit together.
Yeah.
But with the Avengers movies, you have no choice but to keep your shit together.
Yeah.
All the other little ancillary characters. Okay, well, we can put this off for another year or 2 to get it right. Which, by the way, Captain Marvel had 5 screenwriters.
Yeah.
Which is 2 fewer than Homecoming.
Yeah.
It's like,
so that's a little better?
Is this going to be the new thing? I don't know. Probably reading too much into it. But when you're used to a singular voice on these writing credits, James Gunn, Joss Whedon, Marcus McFeely, they're basically one.
Yeah. But,
it's shocking to see that many screenwriters listed.
It's, even the first Guardians had a co-writer.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like a first draft.
Well,
but,
I mean, Zach Penn got a screenwriting credit on Avengers.
Yeah.
But that was all Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
He wrote a first draft. Whedon's like, nope, and gutted it.
Yeah.
But because Writers Guild, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, so basically we both agree you should absolutely go see this movie if you're remotely interested in the MCU, or if you have a young girl.
I was going to say, if you've got like a 10-year-old girl at home or one you can access, in a mall parking lot, take her to this movie.
I wish a movie like this was around when Aaron was that age. But all the movies with women involved them having to be sexy, or they had to have a dude.
Yeah.
We don't even know if Carol Danvers is straight. They never went there, which is great, because then any girl can identify with her.
Yeah.
So I really like this movie. I'll watch it again for sure. Think everyone else should too. As for the next episode, please give us your top 10 ideas for your ideal Woodstock 50 that you would pay $700 to $2,000 for.
Yeah.
We want to hear those. We'll be blasting that out on the socials here in the next week or so, and we'll set a date for the next recording once we get all your feedback.
All right.
Sweet, James. Play us out.
Shut up.